And there's another quote that, let me say, is from Derek Carter. It concerns the old equipment during your electronic music studio at college. He was saying to you, old equipment is good, you're learning the basics, the roots, because you wanted to make beats. So what did you learn then from using that old equipment?
Wow, well, it's funny because my heart really lies, my heart is with that old equipment now. I'm interested in all that analog gear, and I'm so grateful that I had that education, because I'm buying like the synths that I'm interested in, the gear that I'm buying, and it's all old gear. So I understand things like wave shape and envelope shape, and really basic things that you need to know in order to work with an analog machine and work with frequencies and basic waves and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I applied that education as recently as 4 nights ago in Sweden.
Okay.
You know, I had to work on a synth that I wasn't familiar with, and it was like, thank God I understood what cutoff and resonance and all of that stuff was from the old days.
So what is then one old thing that maybe that contemporary DJs that aren't equipped with the old equipment, what is for them the biggest throwback when they have to work with an old synthesizer? Do you know? What's something that they...
Well, I don't know digital synthesizers really well enough to know.
Okay.
You know, I mean, there are some real basic, like in a general shape, like an envelope. It's really technical stuff.
Okay.
But you have something called an attack, and if you seem to be hitting your keys and no sound is coming, and you're impatiently hitting the keys, your attack might be all the way up, and you need to bring it down. You get a sound immediately if you know what an envelope, like a generator is, and you know what the shape of a wave.
Synthesizer.
Yeah, with a synthesizer. So there's like, it just depends on what synths you're using. Old digital synths, new digital synths probably look completely different. Some of them definitely do. Some of them are way out there and divert almost entirely from the old concepts and the old theories.
This is about the name, Hercules and Love Affair. You were saying, well, I was affected by the Hercules story because it was about embracing the feminine within the hyper-masculine. So you were attracted really to old Greek myths? How come?
Well, I think there's a lot of, that's a very meaty story or a meaty concept, This idea of marrying the masculine with the feminine. I think that this in general is something, seeking a balance and finding like the right temperament is something that I feel like I've had to negotiate my whole life.
Well, how come?
Well, in regards to gender, in regards to, I grew up in an all-male household, in a very masculine, macho household. I went to an all-boys high school. I had this stuff imposed on me from a young age, but I was gay, so it was very sensitive. And
when did you find out then
that I was gay?
Yeah.
Oh, very young.
Very young. Yeah.
Very, very young. So, just wading through life and having this immediate, intense social circle around me of machismo, I was like very relieved when I would find a girlfriend or find someone a feminine spirit, So I just cherished the feminine spirit very much. But I grew up in a very macho household, doing macho things, playing sports, doing all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, it sort of was like a theme that ran through my life. And that duality is also, the masculine and the feminine. Sometimes it's, it can be found within like gods and goddesses in old mythology, the two in one, or in this Hercules myth, there's that duality that's presented. But also it's just like I was obsessed with Greek myths because as a little kid, older people, adults, teachers were reading them to me all the time. So
why?
Instead of fairy tales, instead of like Hans Christian Andersen, my teachers would read us Greek myths, So really early on, I started hearing these stories about heroes and tragedies and gods and goddesses, and I got really, I don't know, they were really beautiful stories and scary at times and very inspirational. So I carried that with me my whole life.